This quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? I mean, seriously, you can't just slice open a critical vessel every time you need to check on a weld. This simple sentence, this is the fundamental problem that every single one of us in the plant has to solve. And it's the entire reason NDT even exists. So for the next few minutes, just think of me as your senior inspection coordinator. I'm not here to just throw a bunch of acronyms at you. My goal is to show you how we actually use NDT. Not just to find some indication, but to make those tough engineering calls. You know the ones. When do we monitor? When do we pull the trigger on a repair? And when can we confidently say, yep, this asset is fit for service?
Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Why is NDT so ridiculously critical to what we do? Well, it's all about seeing what you can't see with your own eyes.
So what is it, really? Think of it like a doctor's checkup for our equipment. We're using a whole range of special tools to look inside the steel, to check the quality of welds, to measure for metal loss, the whole shebang. And the best part? We do it all without leaving so much as a scratch. The component stays completely intact.
And what are we hunting for? Well, these are the bad guys, the villains of our story. We're on the lookout for tiny cracks hiding from stress, or little pockets of porosity and slag trapped inside a brand new weld. Or maybe it's that slow, creeping wall loss from corrosion. The goal, always, is to find these issues while they're small, while they're manageable, long before they can grow up to become a major integrity threat.
All right, so how do we actually find these sneaky problems? Let's go ahead and crack open the inspector's toolkit. We're going to cover the main NDT methods you're going to see on pretty much every report that ever lands on your desk.
Now, before we get into all the fancy high-tech stuff, let me tell you about our first line of defense. Just looking at it, visual testing, or VT. I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? But trust me, a trained inspector's eye, checking out a weld profile or looking for any distortion, it is an incredibly powerful first step. Never, ever underestimate a good visual inspection.
So you can pretty much group all the main methods into two big buckets. You've got the ones that only look at the surface of the material, and then you've got the ones that can actually see what's going on inside it. Let's take a quick look at both.
Okay, first up for surface inspection is liquid penetrant, or PT. This is such a clever, simple idea. You spray a special dye on the surface, and it just seeps into any tiny cracks that are open to the air. Then you wipe off the extra dye, spray on a developer, and that developer acts like a sponge, pulling the dye back out. And boom, an invisible flaw suddenly becomes a bright red line. Super effective. But, and this is a big but, it only finds flaws that actually break the surface, and it's for materials that aren't magnetic. Then you've got its cousin, magnetic particle, or MP. This one's for your magnetic materials, like typical carbon steel. What we do is run a magnetic field through the part. Now, if there's a crack, that magnetic field has to go around it, and it sort of leaks out of the surface. We then sprinkle some fine iron particles over it, and they get drawn right to that leak, basically outlining the flaw for us. It's fantastic for surface cracks, and it can even spot some that are just barely hidden underneath. Okay, now let's go deeper into subsurface inspection. And the first one is probably the one you're most familiar with, radiographic testing, or RT. Honestly, it's just like getting an X-ray at the doctor's office, but for our equipment. We shoot X-rays through a weld, and a piece of film on the other side captures the shadow image. Denser metal looks lighter, but flaws like porosity or slag are less dense, so they show up as dark spots. And you get a permanent film record of what's inside that weld. And finally, we have ultrasonic testing, or UT. The best way to think about this is like sonar, but for steel. We send a tiny pulse of high-frequency sound into the material. That sound wave travels along until it hits something. If it's a solid piece, it'll hit the back wall and bounce back. But if there's a crack in the middle, it'll bounce back early. By terming that echo, we can find internal flaws. And this is so important. We can get an incredibly precise measurement of the wall thickness. That makes UT an absolute superstar for corrosion monitoring.
Okay, so we've got this cool toolkit, but how does this all fit together in the real world? See, knowing about these methods is one thing, but knowing which tool to grab for which job, and then what to actually do with the results, that's the engineering part.
Let's walk through a classic scenario. Checking a 10-year-old column for thinning. The task is clear. The method has to be UT, right? So the inspector maps out a grid and takes a bunch of thickness readings. They hand that data to you. Now here's where you come in. You take those numbers and compare them against the vessel's minimum required thickness from your calculations.
The data might show, hey, it's thinning a bit, but you see it's still well above your safety margin. So what's the engineering decision? It's acceptable for continued service. We'll just keep an eye on it and check again in a few years. See? From raw data to a real decision.
Okay, how about a brand new weld? Totally different ballgame. Here, you're almost always going to use a combination of methods. You'll want RT, the X-ray, to look deep inside the weld for any junk like slag or porosity. That gives you your permanent quality record. But then, say the vessel goes for heat treatment. Well, that process can sometimes cause tiny cracks on the surface, so you follow up with MT to make sure the surface is sound. It's all about layering the techniques to cover all your bases.
And this brings me to what might be the single most important point of this entire talk. As amazing as these methods are, they are tools, not crystal balls. They're not magic. Every single one has limitations, blind spots, and if you don't understand what they are, you're going to get into trouble.
Just look at this. It's all about trade-offs, right? PT and MT, fantastic for cracks on the surface, but they are completely 100% blind to anything buried inside the metal. Can't see it, period. RT is your go-to for volumetric stuff like porosity, but a really tight crack, if it's not lined up just right with the X-ray beam, RT can miss it completely. And UT, our champion for finding those internal cracks, can sometimes get confused by really complex geometries.
And it's not just about the physics of the tool. You've got other huge factors. RT uses ionizing radiation. That is a serious safety hazard that demands rock-solid procedures. And UT, well, a UT scan is only as good as the technician holding the probe. Their skill and their experience is everything. This is exactly why we so often combine methods. It's about building confidence by having one technique cover the blind spots of another.
So, after all this technology, all these X-rays and sound waves and magnetic fields, what's the single most important tool in the entire inspection process? It's not a machine. It's your brain. It's your engineering judgment.
This right here sums it all up. Good NDT isn't just about hiring a crew to run a test. It's about making sure the right method is chosen for the specific risk you're worried about. It's about looking at the results and asking the right questions. And most importantly, it's about taking that data and integrating it into your overall strategy to make a sound, safe engineering decision.
So I'll leave you with this. The next time an NDT report lands on your desk, don't just scan for the pass or fail line. Stop. Ask yourself, was this the right test for the job? What couldn't it see? And how does this single piece of data inform my next decision for this asset? When you start asking those questions, that's when you're truly using NDT as an engineer.